What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Top 5 Under 5. And this weekend did provide us some highlights, and while Joshua provided the highlight, the fight highlight of the weekend was really Oscar Valdez versus Emmanuel Navarrete, who gave us an instant classic. They went at it from the beginning, the first round, until the end. And when you see Oscar Valdez's face, man, it looked like he definitely went through a fight. Now, a lot of people can complain about the scorecards and saying the scorecards were a little wide, but honestly, I felt like Navarrete it was never in doubt that he was going to lose the fight. And I think the only doubt came in was around the 8th or 9th round when they were even talking about it on the broadcast, how he hurt his right hand. And now with that right hand, him unable to use it how he normally would, maybe he could have stopped Valdez, but he would have had to really put a sledgehammer to him. And Valdez was giving it as much as he was taking, but he was taking a lot. Navarrete threw over 1,000 punches, y'all. Over 1,000 punches. He was laying the wood to Valdez, and it was just a very entertaining fight. I'm glad they were able to give us that spectacle because we really needed it. We really needed it because that Joshua fight, which I'm gonna touch on earlier, that whole card. But congrats to Navarrete, still WBO super featherweight champ. Oscar Valdez, hold your head high, rest up, come back, because I definitely want to see both fighters again. Number 2, so as I alluded to, Anthony Joshua provided the highlight of the weekend with that highlight reel knockout of Robert Helenius. It was a victory, and I think a knockout that Joshua needed. He hasn't had a knockout like that since Pulev, and really the Helenius knockout was better than the Pulev knockout because it was a one-hitter quitter, one-punch knockout, and it's definitely going to be seen anytime, especially when they start talking about that Wilder fight. You're going to see the Helenius knocked out by Wilder, and you're going to see Helenius knocked out by Joshua. So Robert Helenius, man, respect to you. You went in the ring with both of them. So respect. But you got laid out by both of them, so you're going to get replayed. It's just going to happen. But Anthony Joshua did what he had to do. Didn't look that great doing it initially. It seemed like he was going to take his time and work on some things. I was like, okay. I wasn't sure how he was going to approach this fight, and he approached it how I didn't think he was going to approach it. I thought he was going to kind of get back, not going to say the old Anthony Joshua, but I thought he was going to be more front foot heavy. But it seemed like he was trying to do the same thing that Wilder maybe did initially, and he was going off the back foot. But Helenius, he was more cautious. He didn't just go in there like he did with Wilder. So I think that's what caused the approach to change. And he was even talking in the corner. He was looking for that right hand, but he found it in the 7th round, and it was heavy. That was I liked what Joshua did, how he threw the jab, and then he did like a double palm jab, right? He threw it twice, and then he came over the top with the right hand. Just try to get Helenius' eyes, get his hands maybe moving and focus on a different area, and then coming up top with the right hand. I think those are some of the things as far as in the head in boxing IQ that Joshua is doing a little bit better than before. Maybe just head hunting and not setting up his punches. He was trying to do that more because he was throwing that jab to the body early in the fight. But either way, Joshua did get the highlight reel KO that people were looking for. Wilder Joshua next is hopefully what we get, and we can stop waiting.
When I see boxing, I see craft. Whoever is showing me high-level stuff, I commend that. But I don't watch boxing. Whoa! Whoa! Yes, AJ fucking L. January, baby.
Only thing I didn't like was the talk after the fight. It seemed like when you see the interviews that Hearn does, he's like, yeah, the fight's gonna happen. And then after the fight, he's like, I hope the fight can happen. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand that. It's like, before the fight, you're talking about, oh yeah, this fight's pretty much done. Skill Challenge Promotions here. We're gonna make the fight. Then boom, after the fight, well, we hope we can make it happen. Whatever. So either way, that fight needs to happen next, for real. It needs to happen next. No more of this BS, and we'll move on. So I'm going on to the next as well. But I want to touch on one thing. That card was booty juice. It was booty juice. And I thought it was going to be a better card. But Dempsey McKean, the holding... I'm going to talk about Hrgovic. I'm going to get into that. I want to talk about that. So I'll just quickly mention the Derek Chisora fight. It was what it was. 2 aging fighters. And it wasn't as entertaining as I thought it could be because it just didn't end up that way. And then you had the Johnny Fisher fight was okay. That was an okay fight. But then you had Hrgovic. So that's my number 3. Number 3, Hrgovic. I wanted to see more in that Dempsey McKean fight. I wanted to see more. Dempsey McKean was doing a lot of holding. I think he should have been docked a point. He got a warning, but he never was docked a point, and he continued to hold the entire fight. And it was very obvious. He would push Hrgovic against the rope, and then he would hold on to the ropes. I was like, come on, man. And this is why fans are turned off by certain fights and certain fighters. Because now, even though I wouldn't say a favorable review of Dempsey McKean. I didn't mind his fight. I saw him fight before. But then I see a fight like this and I'm like, man, I don't really care to see Dempsey McKean. Now I have that in my brain. That's the last image seared in my brain. Dempsey McKean holding, not really, it's not even a strategic hold. You know, it just felt like I'm tired, so I'm gonna hold. You know, and sometimes it was, but most times it wasn't. Hrgovic, I felt like he just got tired of the holding, didn't really want to be there anymore. He was just like, can we get this over with? I'm winning this fight. This guy can't do anything with me. McKean had his moments, but Hrgovic was the obvious victor. Finally got the mercy stoppage, they'll call it, in the 12th round, and I'm glad they did. I'm glad it was over because it was not the easiest fight to watch. But it's on to the next. Hrgovic's going to take on the winner of Dubois Usyk. It's going to be set. I don't think he's going to fight again until then, even though he needs to be active, and I'll be all for an Alan Babic fight with Hrgovic. Just gotta keep him active, and I don't think he's not going to lose to Babic anyway. So it'd be more entertaining than what we just saw, and you'll be able to get probably a Hrgovic highlight reel knockout on the resume before going into an potentially Usyk fight, depending on how that Dubois fight ends on August 26th. Number 4, Gary Antoine Russell returned to the ring. A great ring return for him as he just punished the body of Cruz. Made it look pretty easy. Second round KO. And what I want to focus on here is what's next. What is really next for Gary Antoine Russell? And also, what's next for Gary Russell? Because after Gary Russell said he was coming back, and he said he was going to be taking on fighters in a higher weight class. So when he says that, is he talking about 135? Is he talking about 140? Could a Gary Russell Tank Davis fight potentially be in the works? You know, it makes you wonder. So, because Tank does have some options. He's going to sell regardless. So a Gary Russell fight wouldn't be a bad fight for Tank. And Gary Antoine Russell, man, that guy can scrap too. So I wouldn't mind seeing either one of them, especially 140, 147, whatever Gary Antoine Russell, whatever weight he wants to fight at. Not sure, because he mentioned about 144 in the post-fight. That's where he's kind of in between weights right now. So I don't know what he's going to do next. But it sounds like he doesn't care. He said if it's a lower weight, then he would do that. So I think he was talking about 140. If it's 147, it sounded like he would go that, but he's kind of like in an in-between point. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes next, but he seems like he's up for anything. And I'll be there to watch whoever he fights, because he's an entertaining fighter. And that's what I like to watch. I like to watch entertaining fights, just like everybody else. We don't want to see the Hrgovic McKean type fights. We don't. I don't mind a good boxing match. I always have. But if it's something like that, that's not a good boxing match. And that's not good for paying customers. So credit to Gary Antoine Russell getting in there, handling business, getting his opponent Cruz out of there in 2 rounds. And I can't wait to see what he does next. Number 5, Emmanuel Rodriguez dusted off Melvin Lopez. And the 12th round, he got 3 knockdowns. So 3 knockdowns in the 12th round. It was a very good performance by Emmanuel Rodriguez. Most people probably remember Emmanuel Rodriguez from that Naoya Inoue fight where he was like looking up and it's like he didn't want to continue because of that. I think it was a body shot that he got hit with. So that was in the 2nd round as well. And that was during I think it was what was that tournament called? The World Boxing Super Series. It was the World Boxing Super Series when Inoue took out Rodriguez. He's rebounded, and that's what I love about boxing. I love seeing these fighters be able to come back from that. And now he's IBF Bantamweight champion, a champion once again, well-deserved. Respect to Emmanuel Rodriguez as he took out Lopez. And now will he unify? The opportunities are there. He can do it on Showtime, no matter where he goes, no matter who he fights. That was a good. He left a good impression, I believe, on fans in general, because it was a dominant performance. It was a dominant performance, and he tried to go for the finish in the end. He wasn't just trying to skate and run around the ring until it was over. He tried to take the man out. He tried to get the stoppage. So respect to him. Good fight. And now it's on to the next. But thank you guys. That's going to be all for this week's Top 5 Under 5. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next week. Until next time. Peace.